Well, good afternoon, or morning, or evening, whatever time you're listening. Hello. It's 87 degrees in here, and the air conditioning isn't on, but I do have a fan running, and I don't have the overhead fan running, the ceiling fan. But it's hot, and I'm not turning the air conditioner on yet, and it's hard for me to turn the air conditioner on when I have kids here that don't know enough to close doors and stuff like that. Uh, I don't want electric bills to the extent that my family had electric bills prior to them moving in here. $300 a month electric bills and stuff like that. Don't cut it for me when I'm on a limited budget. Anyway, it's very warm, and I'm not going to worry about putting a shirt on, which was what all that was about. Yesterday it was 88 degrees, and I did put a shirt on before I started the video. But today I'm just not even going to bother. The title for today's talk, which is tomorrow's, actually the last day of April 2014, is The Calm Before the Storm. People from the south central U.S. to the Atlantic coast just experience a lot of tornadoes, but that's not the kind of storm I'm referring to here. I'm talking about the storm that is brewing between the conscious awakening and the old paradigm of control. A lot was supposed to happen in April, yet we have seen very little in the way of actual change. To me, it has been rather calm, although I can feel the tension in the collective. Regardless of appearances, a massive shift is occurring. I don't think the would-be controllers can stop it, though they may cause enough of a ruckus to awaken the many that still sleep. That's the kind of storm I see coming. Indeed, most people in the world still get their news from the mainstream media. And here in the United States, those people are not very well informed, unless they're also supplementing that information with alternative media information. And then even then, it depends on where they're finding their alternative information from. But here's the reality. Exponentially, the number of people waking up to the criminality of our current government systems, our current corporate system of control, more and more people are waking up to that reality. That the financial system, the government system, the corporate system, the education system, the medical system have been corrupted to the point where if you don't know that that's happening, wake up. Get your head out of your butt. Now, I just had a conversation a little bit ago with a lady who was sharing with a friend who about what's going on in the world, and he said if he found out that the U.S. government was what she was saying, it would kill him. It would destroy him. A lot of people are in that same predicament because they want to believe that our government is good, that the people that are in the seats of power, so to speak, want to do the right thing. Nothing could be further from the truth. These are the most corrupted individuals on the face of the earth. Now, I think it's funny because my ex-wife called me yesterday, and she wants to order mementos from the recent canonization of two previous popes. Now, I don't know anything specifically about either of them, John Paul the 23rd, and I forget who the other one was, because I don't follow that stuff. But she still is all enamored by the Vatican's pomp and ceremony, and yet the Vatican is one of the criminal organizations that has been responsible for many wars, has been responsible for child molestation for centuries. I mean, it is a pedophile ring, organized and called a religion. And people that are Catholics aren't going to like that, but that's the truth. I mean, we've got to take our heads out of our butts and out of the sand, and we've got to wake up and look at the world that we're living in. We have to really look at it, and we have to be willing to tell ourselves the truth. If we're going to adopt the beginner's mind that I talked about in my previous video, the one that's up right now, we're going to have to admit to ourselves the situation that we're in. We're not going to be able to apply the beginner's mind to remedies and solutions until we first acknowledge the situation that we find ourselves in which the entire world is victimizing and victimized. The entire world is in that role. Humanity is in that role. Now, you may not like to think of yourself as a victim. You may not like to think of yourself as a slave. And yet, if you could see the reality of how the financial system works in our world, you would get it. You would realize that the financial system keeps you spinning your wheels and expending your energy for something that the majority of which is taken away from you. Can you imagine if we lived in a world where our basic needs were provided, period, just because we are? That's the kind of system that many envision, and many have come up with plans to create that kind of a world where everyone is guaranteed the basic essentials: shelter, food, clothing, all the things that are absolutely essential for survival and to live your life as a human being are provided at no charge. They're provided because you deserve it, because you're alive. That's the ecosystem. But other people have similar systems, and I may be doing a video later this week about the ecosystem. But in any case, before we can get there, we have to recognize the criminality of the slavery system that we're existing in. It is financial fraud and financial extortion. It's a racket. It's racketeering by our own governments, and it's run by corporate interests. As I said in other videos, it's government of the corporation, by the corporation, and for the corporation. And until we are able to address that, and that will create a firestorm, okay? That will create a storm. I mean, there might be different ways of retaliation because they don't want to let go. When I say they, the people that have run this control grid do not want to let go of the benefits that they've gained by operating this system. It has benefited them and they don't care. Their psychopathic mindsets do not allow them to show compassion for all the people that are being hurt by their system. They probably, in most cases, cannot even see it. But that has to change, and it is changing because people are waking up. You can't have all of this stuff happening that was happening when people know about it. Because, first of all, there's been an awful lot of false flags that have been planned since 9/11 and 3/11 and some of the other things that have happened. There's been a lot more things planned that never got off the ground because people picked up on it before they were happening and gave enough warning that they couldn't do it anymore. There was enough information out there to stop it. Now, we're not I don't believe, going to be able to totally stop the storm that's coming, because there has to be ultimately a collision between, if you will, I don't really like to say it's between the forces of light and the forces of darkness, but in a sense that's what it is. The people that want to do the right thing and the people that want to keep the old system going, as I said in the blurb, the old paradigm. They want to keep the old paradigm of control going forward. But there's an awful lot of people that are proposing, with their creative efforts and their visionary abilities, they are proposing something that will be actually substantial enough to change the whole setup on Earth, the whole system, and it is sustainable. The old system is not sustainable because it's not based on truth. It's not based on equity. It's not based on justice. It's not based on compassion. It's not based on cooperation. These are the things that I've just named and listed off. These are the things that will provide a new paradigm and a new way of living in the world that will work for everyone. As I've said often, I came here and my mission, my job, is to create a world or help co-create a world that works for everybody and doesn't leave anybody behind. The only people that it doesn't provide for are the people that continue their psychopathic tendencies and their sociopathic tendencies to harm others and not care about it. The people that have no natural empathy. They are devoid of common sense and common decency. People that run the corporations, people that run the governments, people that run the institutions of our world. This is where the storm is going to come from, because we the people have to clash with them. We the people have to stand up and say no more. We the people have to start reclaiming our rights and saying, you're violating my rights and you don't have a right to violate my rights. You are acting as a criminal, and we need to be able to say that to policemen and sheriffs and soldiers, wherever they may be. But before we can even hardly get to that point, I hope that what happens is something that has been talked about for a very long time now. I've been aware of it at least 10 years, 10, 12, maybe 13 years, that there's got to be arrests of some of these powerful people, especially in the United States, especially in the United States. I'm sorry, Obama needs to be arrested. He's not a good guy. Get it through your head. He's not a good guy. He's never been a good guy. If there was any goodness in him when he was running for office, that goodness was quickly eradicated in the early years of his administration so that he could never do what he promised to do when he was running for office. Get it out of your head that he's a good guy. He's not. And the U.S. government is not a good government. It is a criminal operation. Get it through your head that most people in government do not have the best interest of the people at heart. Get it through your head. This is the reality of the world that we live in. I'm totally magnanimous in wanting to forgive those that honestly repent. But honest repentance means they stop the old activity and they start telling the truth and they start doing the right thing. Anybody that starts telling the truth and doing the right thing can and should be forgiven. But if they're unwilling to come clean and to stop the criminal behavior, then they need to be able to receive the just recompense for what they're doing. They need to be in a position where they reap what they sow. They need to be in a position where the things that they've prepared, like the concentration camps that they've prepared for others in the world, the dissidents like me, they prepared them for us. But that needs to be their reward. It needs to be for them that have prepared it for us. They need to be the ones that need to be locked up until they hopefully come to their senses and can be reintroduced into a society that works, rather than to continue to try to implement a society that works against itself, that is unsustainable. We have no lack in our world. There is no lack of anything that we need. We just have screwed up priorities because we've been run by crazy people. That's the storm that's coming. The storm between the crazy people and the people that are becoming whole, the people that are seeing, many for the first time, the terror and the terribleness of the structure of the world that we've lived in, where nothing is what we've been told. And we need to bring our childlike mind, our beginner's mind into this, because all of the answers are within us. We're going to create them together. We're going to create the world that works for all of us, the world where everyone's basic needs are provided, the world where we can work on remembering who we are and taking steps to remind ourselves and to learn and to re-educate ourselves and to experience new things that we've been unable to experience in the old world because of the criminality of the system of slavery that has held us in bondage and created crime and created not enough time for us to even survive because we're always struggling for survival. We need to end that. We need to end it once and for all. Nobody should have to pay to live on the planet that we were born on. Nobody. It should be free and provided for everyone, whether they work or not, just because they're alive. That's a basic principle that we need to get back to, if we've ever had it at all. We need to get to that principle that just because you're alive, you deserve the basic essentials of life. What you create beyond that is free enterprise or free will. You can create and expand, but the basic essentials must be provided as a foundation of human rights, because anything less than that and anything less than common law is not acceptable in the world that we're creating. There's a storm coming between the old ivory tower people that want to control everything and the new consciousness that is being birthed within humanity. Keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, keep your mind open, keep your heart open, and let your life be such that you learn to love and let your light shine, and that you learn to laugh. For laughter is going to be part of the dynamic that shifts everything when it works in love and light. Thank you for listening. I think that's all for now. Namaste.